Basic Education Department says it plans to introduce new subjects for grades 10 and 12 by the year 2025. This as a measure to improve the learners' chances at getting employment after matric. Now, to get a better understanding of this, we're joined now by the Chief Director of Maths, Science and Technology at the Department of Basic Education, Seliki Tlhabane. Mr. Tlhabane, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with the list of those subjects then that will be ultimately added to the curriculum by 2025. Which are they?
Thank you very much, Xoli, and let me greet your viewers as well at home. Xoli, we have developed 26 new subjects in what we call the occupational stream, and we have also developed 12 new subjects in the vocational stream. Now, let me take an opportunity to explain what these streams are. We have, as a department, developed an approach that we call the three streams model. The three streams model is an approach by the department to try to afford learners an opportunity to select pathways that they could follow to enhance their economic participation. As we know that it is a responsibility of every education system across the world to prepare its citizens for the world of work. And basic education has a massive role to play to ensure that these children are actually supported and afforded opportunities based on their interest, based on their aptitude, based on their inclination to follow certain streams. The first stream is what we have been having all along, what you call the academic stream. This stream seeks to get learners to gather matric, get into universities or institutions of higher learning. But there are two other streams that we have not done so well on previously. And these are the streams where we are developing new subjects to give children an opportunity to succeed. You would understand, and these are what you call the vocational, and the other stream is the occupational. Okay. Only you would understand that South Africans have big interest in education, and they follow the success rate of children. And one of the things that we've been criticized for is the dropout rate of our learners. That so many learners start school, and by the time they come to grade 12, they almost have that number. And it is because we are subjecting children to an academic stream where some of them are differently gifted. And if they could be supported to use their hands, those children were going to succeed. It doesn't assist to take a child who is strong academically and you put them on the occupational or vocational, forcing them to use their hands. Yeah. Such a child may not do so well in that field. One other thing that I wish to correct, Xoli, is that the society has a wrong perception that the vocational and the occupational programs are of a lower standard to the academic. That children who follow vocational as well as occupational are children who have failed and are not intelligent. Yeah. And what we are saying as the department is that these children are differently gifted. A child who's good with their hands may not do so well when you put them in an academic program, and vice versa. Yeah. A child who's good academically may not do so well with their hands. So it is about taking children's abilities and creating pathways that are going to support them to be able to enter into the job market and be able to participate meaningfully as fruitful citizens.
Let me take you up, Mr. Tlhabane, on the element about the vocational skills being viewed as being of a lesser importance to a child who's academically astute. And I say to you that it is the department's fault for why this is the view. And I'll tell you why. The TVT colleges have not been capacitated to the same standard as institutions that are seen as academic or academically strong. What is going to be done then to improve the capacity of these TVET colleges in order for them to start producing the high quality vocational skills that you now want to seriously drive?
Holly, thank you very much for that question. And if you put the blame squarely on the department or on government, we will not contest that. But there are many other factors at play here that makes parents to want their children to progress through university and earn a degree. And some of these things are historical. When in the past, blacks were not allowed to access certain programs at universities, and they were deliberately excluded. When the doors were opened for blacks to access these programs, there was a mass movement of parents and learners wanting to become a qualified this and a qualified that with a degree behind it. But I wish to correct this by saying, if you take somebody with a vocational a qualification, with vocational skills, for instance, let us say a hairdresser or a plumber or a bricklayer. When I call a plumber to come and fix my broken pipe, before I buy material, I already have to pay a call-out fee of 450 rands. Which is almost equivalent to what I pay when I go and consult my doctor. So, meaning, these South Africans can earn livelihoods through this. StatSA recently conducted a study that demonstrated that the township economy, where there is exchange of money between citizens for services that are provided by skilled people, building a hall, fixing my electrical problems, and all this, that the economy in Soweto only, it runs into billions of rands. So we want to conscientize South Africans that you can still make a livelihood, not out of possession of a degree, but out of skills programs that we are offering as government that will enable you to participate in the economy. And
Mr.
you do not necessarily have to have a degree for you to be able to participate.
Mr. Thabane, I absolutely agree with you, but you have not answered my question. Again, I ask you, what are you going to do then to improve the quality of teachers who are at these colleges? Perhaps it may not be your space. Maybe I am pressing this question on a wrong person because, yes, you are at basic education level, but the two feed into each other. Perhaps it is your duty to impress upon the Minister of Higher Education and Training to say, improve the quality of pupils that come out of those TVET colleges. But that starts with employing people who are interested in doing the job, first of all, who don't see themselves as secondary citizens to those academically astute institutions.
Holly, the evidence that we have before us is that TVET colleges have suitably qualified lecturers. They possess the necessary skill, they possess the necessary knowledge. Yes, one of the challenges might point to children who are going into the TVET space, maybe those that the society view as children who have failed academically. And that we want to change this perception that TVET colleges and technical high schools are not for children who are not intelligent, but children who are bright students can still follow these programs. And that once we get the right caliber of students to follow these programs, we will in part be able to address this problem.
Mr. Thabane, that doesn't suggest. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Thabane. I'm sorry. we're going to have a very lively debate, you and I. These TVET colleges, they have been in existence now for some time, and the quality of results has not been satisfactory. I don't think you can argue with that. Why have they been allowed to almost operate as second-class citizens?
Xoli, I think like you indicated, that question would best be suited when directed to the Department of Higher Education. But we only have one system of education in South Africa, and we do have a good sense of what is happening in the TVET colleges. We do agree that we need to improve on our education offering, and we do agree and accept that there are things that we need to do better to improve on the throughput of the TVET colleges to ensure that we produce in good numbers the quality of qualified South Africans coming out of these institutions who can take up opportunities in the job market.
All right. Now that we agree that the quality of output from these TVET colleges has not been to the standard that we would like, we can move on to now the difference between the vocational stream and occupational stream. What are you talking about? What's the major difference between the vocational versus occupational?
Yeah, Xoli, the difference, the fundamental difference between the three streams is the amount of practical work that learners have to do. Like, for instance, for the academic subjects, the practical is very minimal. When you come to the vocational, at least learners have to do 50% of the practical. What they do is that 50% is theory and 50% is practical. And when it comes to the occupational, about 75% is practical and only 25% is theoretical. But there is one other important aspect of occupational is what we call the work-based experience. Children who are offering the occupational, there is a requirement for them to be attached to a place of work where they will be supervised by professionals and they acquire the real world of work experience. Whereas with the vocational, children don't have to be placed in a place of work, but just the theory and the practical suffices.
All right. Just so I'm clear and the viewer is clear, in 2025, 26 new subjects are being introduced overall. Is that what you're saying? Or there is another add-on to this 26?
Yes, these are 26 occupational subjects, but we have also introduced 12 vocational subjects that we introduced way back in 2016. And we are implementing them in grade 10 to 12. And the occupational subjects that we are talking about, we are introducing them in grade 10 to 12 as well.
Let me thank you very much for your time, Seliki Tlhabane. That's a conversation that I'm sure is going to be gaining traction as we edge closer to that year 2025. Thank you very much for the clarity and lovely talking to you, sir. Thanks indeed for your time.
Thank you very much, Xoli, and we would like to call on the media to help us demystify the status of these subjects and that children can actually earn a good living by acquiring these skills. Thank you very much.
Absolutely agreed. I cannot argue with you there. But I suppose some people are going to say it's got to do, though, with the quality that comes out of these vocational and occupational streams that Mr. Tlhabane was talking about. That output has not been satisfactory, and that cannot be argued. He's just agreed himself. So it's an ongoing conversation.